Hello and welcome to How I Got Where I Am, a series of interviews where senior reward professionals share their top tips for building a successful career in reward. This week we're interviewing Sarah Lardner, Client Director at Innecto Reward Consulting. Over her 22 years in reward, Sarah has built up an extensive knowledge of international reward practices and has the experience and drive to deliver high-impact reward agendas. Before joining Innecto in 2010, Sarah worked in-house with various companies within the energy, financial services and telecommunications sectors. At Innecto, Sarah's recent clients involve high-profile organisations like Waterstones, the Borough Mobile, Les Ambassadeurs Club, the National Trust and L3 TRL Technology. Hi Sarah.
Hello.
That's the This Is Your Life stuff out of the way. So, hearing all your achievements read out, obviously very senior level now, but you started out at quite a junior level in your career. Do you think it's still possible to work your way up?
I think it is. I think it's difficult. When I started out, particularly when I started to really understand that I wanted to have a career in HR, previous to that I was very much sort of personal assistant and done some secretarial placements. During the first few years it was easy to progress, and then I sort of hit a brick wall where graduate trainees were starting to come in, and it was at a particular level, sort of low level management, where I was having to really work hard in showing the achievements, showing my potential over and above graduate trainees, because I hadn't had the opportunity to go to university because I was an army child and we were moving around from place to place, and I went to many schools, and I did have an opportunity to go to boarding school and I chose not to. And when I left school, it was at the same time as my dad left the army, and due to other personal circumstances I didn't get the chance to go to university. So I think that sort of slowed down my progression. But once I moved through that tricky hurdle, then it was more of a seamless progression.
So what do you currently enjoy the most in your current job as a reward consultant?
I love the variety. Working with different clients which have different requirements, different challenges within different sectors at different life cycles of their company. Really make sure that you are having to think on your feet, you're having to create solutions around their particular issue, work with them collaboratively to get to a result that works for the employees as well as the business as well as HR. But it's that variety and the exposure to all their commercial issues and business challenges that you don't get to see when you work in-house.
Do you have a favourite project that you've worked on with Innecto, or one that you're particularly proud of?
There's been many over the years. I think my favourites are always where you see it implemented and you actually still get to work with a client and you see the results of the work that you've done and really understand the business impact of what they do. So less of a transactional type of consultancy. You really feel that you were part of that change, and HR are engaged with what you want. Bonus schemes are always exciting, incentive schemes, sales incentive schemes, because you get to really understand the commercials of a business. The gender pay reporting recently has just provided a different insight into the challenges that companies face from an inclusion and diversity point of view, and that was really different to get involved in. So I can't put my finger on one particular project. There's been many over the years.
Okay. Can you give us an idea of a challenge that you often face in the course of your work and how you would approach overcoming that challenge?
There's challenges at different phases of the project. There is certainly challenges at proposal stage where you really have to show the benefits of the project, the consultancy and the investment that the business wants to have. Even though they've actively sought you out, they have to get this budget signed off. So that's a hurdle that you need to overcome, and that's often with finance, and it could be with the CEO or different stakeholders in the business. And I think the next crucial thing is that you've actually created and set up that project efficiently and started to build relationships right at the forefront, and be clear about the scope and the expectations. and really start to, I suppose, agree how you're going to work together and ultimately what the output's going to look like.
Right, okay. So you've been at Innecto for 8 years now. That's a significant chunk of time. Why do you stay?
It's always a different project. You get to work with different clients. You get to build relationships with clients over the years. So I have clients that have moved on to other companies and they come back to us wanting more support and our services, and that's really good. So you build a really strong network. The people I work with are brilliant. You know, I'm working with people who really want to make a difference, that they really care about the deliverables, they have the same values as I have. But also, we are growing as a business, and I've been here for 8 years and I'm seeing it change week on week, and I'm looking forward to seeing it really change as we go through our next phase of growth.
So advice to people who've heard what you talked about how much you enjoy your job and the variety, if they want your job, what sort of qualifications or attributes do they need?
I had to proactively go out and get consultancy experience. I had worked in-house, I had done a variety of different roles, but that doesn't give you the consultant exposure, and that is very different. Working for a consultancy is completely different to working in-house. I was fortunate enough in Nationwide Build Society to have been seconded into the consulting function. That acted like a full commercial entity, consulting entity. So I was able to go through my consulting competencies and my project management competencies and my relationship management competencies. What I think is important before you go into consultancy, because that's about just really adapting to a different environment, but what you need is a breadth and depth knowledge and insight around various elements of reward. You need to really understand the impact of your solutions, so how a client needs to land this, what sort of challenges they will face internally, you know, what are the constraints on their systems, on their resources. So it's very beneficial to have in-house experience as well as consultant experience.
I was recently reading some research about, it was sort of interviews with women in senior executive positions, and it was interviewing them about their confidence levels and self-belief over the course of their career. And broadly speaking, they seem to fall into two groups. There were some whose confidence starts high, dips in their 30s and then increases again after that, or some who start with low self-belief and increase gradually over the course of your career. Do either of those scenarios ring true for you?
Yeah, I think my self-belief and my confidence grows with experience. The bar for me is always moving. If I remember back, I knew I had the tenacity to do well and the ambition, but I always questioned myself about my level of experience or knowledge. So I really worked hard. I really worked hard on expanding that. And the more that I knew and the more exposure I had, the more I felt confident about that next phase ahead. So I really have pushed myself over the years. I always, even now, you know, I don't have the answers to everything. I'm learning every single day in new projects that I embark on, in the similar type of project but in a new situation I'm learning from. I've got a family as well, and I've got 2 boys, and there are moments during my career where my confidence has dipped, particularly where I've got young children, and you're trying to balance both aspects, and not all the time it happens, you know, it works well. Sometimes the balls drop either at the family life or professionally. My confidence grows as my experience and my knowledge and my skill set grows.
What advice would you give yourself at the start of your career?
I think I would have told myself to not take some stuff personally. I think at times you feel that you really take the hit when you are not progressing as quickly as you hope to. I always try to run before I can walk. Well, that's what I was always getting told. So then sometimes it was about, you know, just take it easy, just slow down a bit. But essentially, I went back to college when I had my youngest. I got my reward qualifications. I probably wish that I would have done more and probably taken the opportunity to go to boarding school, and I would have seen myself go through university. But then again, I wouldn't be in the situation I am right now with 2 boys, you know, living where I'm living and working in Innecto, because I would have taken a different path. But just to, you know, hold up hope and be assured that things will be okay.
Well, that's a good note to end on. I've got some silly quick fire questions for you. What's your most treasured possession?
My home. Yeah, it makes me feel happy when I go home and everybody's there and my dogs come and greet me.
Well, that kind of answers my next question, which is, are you a cat or a dog person?
Oh, I'm a dog person. I've had cats, but I'm a dog person. My children are older now and they don't run down the stairs to greet me when I walk in. I have to shout to find out even if they're in. But the dogs always come home, even if I've had a rotten day. They just say hello and make me feel better.
Do you have a party trick or hidden skill?
When I was expecting my youngest, I could actually bend over and pick up a Kellogg's cornflakes box with my teeth, and I had a bump and I wasn't that far off of
That's
so hopefully I'm quite flexible. Well, probably not, that was a good few years ago.
So you support a football team?
I support all the teams that my boys support, so mainly Swindon and Highworth, because I live in Highworth, and Highworth is a local team. Swindon is a town team local to me, and then I have one boy's Liverpool, the other one's Manchester United, so whoever's watching the match, I'm sat there watching with them.
And where's your favourite place on earth?
I would say literally anywhere in Italy. You could plonk me down in Rome, in Sorrento, in Lake Garda, and I love everything about Italy.
Okay, good answer. Thanks very much, Sarah.
Thank you.